Well, it's been 4 years since they stepped down as working royals, but Harry and Meg's have been putting on a very royal display while on tour in Nigeria.
That's right, they have. To unpack it, we are joined by Daily Mirror royal editor Russell Myers. He's back, and advertising executive team Madigan. Rusty, you just can't stay away from this story, can you? I mean, it looked and sounded like a royal tour, but it didn't have the palace's approval. So what was it?
Well, that's a big question, Sarah. I mean, it is pretty much a royal tour. You know, I've been on a fair few of them over the years, and it's got all the hallmarks of what we would come to expect from a royal tour. You know, the engagements element, the sort of dignitaries that they're meeting, the fanfare of sort of the arrivals and what have you. So, I mean, this is pretty much royal tour light, which is exactly what Harry and Meghan are. They're sort of light royals, aren't they? They don't have the weight and the expectation, I suppose, of the royal family, but they're still, you know, having that royal connection for their big PR machine.
I love that royal light. Look, Rusty is a very disciplined correspondent. And
yes.
He's generally very careful what he says, but when we talk about Meghan, Dee, this whole rebrand, she's interesting because a lot of people who, you know, used to say and support her have now crossed over.
And when you say interesting, what you mean is vapid and attention-seeking.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I don't watch my words quite. I feel like they need to... you know, I can't believe we're not royals sort of branding. Like, for royals who don't want to be royals, they couldn't be more royally. But you know what's most outrageous about this, right, is when they decided they wanted to be peasants, like the rest of us. Well, Marie Antoinette was wrong. You can't have your cake and eat it too, right? So they've gone to Nigeria. They don't get the royal security stuff. So the Nigerian government is paying for it. Like, millions and millions of dollars in a country where 89 million people live below the poverty line. And they say, oh, we're doing it for youth mental health. I reckon that could have trained a lot of psychologists to go in schools instead of look at me, prince and princess.
Yeah, well, and this is a good point. And Rusty, I mean, they went to the Nigerian polo. I mean, Nigeria is a country that has a lot of problems, and I'm not sure many can be solved on the polo field.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, Nigeria is listed around sort of the 9th most dangerous country in the world, and yet Prince Harry is refusing to bring his family to the UK because of the security issue and the sort of moans that he's got at the British government not paying for his security. So, listen, there are so many issues with this whole trip. You know, Meghan wearing dresses which are about $10,000 to $15,000. You've got the issues of whether they should even be travelling them as well. Wearing Princess Diana's necklace, all the royal connections. But you know, it's just another reinvention for Harry and Meghan at the moment.
But Dee, what is this? What is the reinvention? I mean, as Rusty points out, it's a very glamorous tour, and they're, you know, driving around in Lexuses. They're going to the polo. These are not common folk things to do.
I think Meghan feels like she's, you know, giving a bit of her personality and warmth to these people, and they should just be really grateful that she's there. But their whole rebrand is like that. Like, it's now Sussex, their website. They've completely re-embraced the royal because they know there's cha-ching in it. And, you know, they'll have a Netflix series coming up about some school they'll sponsor in Nigeria.
You know, Pulp wrote a great song called Common People, Rusty, that you'd be familiar with. I'm sure you've pounded the pavements with that in your ears over the years, but they're just not, no matter how much they try to. And I guess that driving for content is part of all of this, but it's in a way such manufactured content.
Well, I suppose the people who are supporting the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are going to continue to support them. They think that they're doing good. They're backing charities in Nigeria with their own charitable foundation, and the people who are going to be against them are going to be against them. However, you know, does it look a bit crass when you're turning up in thousands of dollars worth of garments and jewellery? The fact that you're in Nigeria sort of espousing the virtues of your own being, I suppose, by calling yourself proud, resilient, powerful. It just seems a bit off, doesn't it? So, you know, whether Harry and Meghan have garnered a few more supporters from this trip, I'm not too sure.
You are the PR guru, Dee. How do you rebrand this image? How do you repair this reputation?
Just stop doing stuff for the camera. Actually do some stuff that's genuine, not with the camera there. And then that's really hard because how do you get it out? But that's why you pay other people to do that for you. You know? But, yeah, they need some lessons in how to be humble. And I reckon Meghan, because she's American, just doesn't get how that irks the English, who are quite sort of the opposite.
Yeah.
So,
There you go, Rusty. Does it irk you, big guy?
Well, listen, I've been around the block a few times with these guys, so they've irked me a few times down the years. I'm not too sure this is one of them. It's something we've come to expect, isn't it? So we just got to let the punches roll, I suppose.
All right. Good on you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Markle has made the most of her trip with Harry to Nigeria, calling it my country. Let's cross to 9 Europe correspondent Jess Millward in London with more details. Jess, Meghan had plenty of praise for the nation.
She did, Sarah. Good morning. I mean, this was a royal tour in all but name. When you take a look at the pictures, officially, Harry and Meghan were there to promote the Invictus Games. The country joined the competition last year, but while there, they have met with dignitaries, locals and also charity groups. That's a video there of them going to Government House and they met with the Governor. They also went to a basketball clinic where Harry spoke to children about the power of sport and how it can change lives. He tried his hand at some dribbling while Meghan wore a traditional hand-woven cloth skirt that has been gifted to her over the past 3 days. She also spoke very openly about discovering that she was 43% Nigerian. She announced that in 2022 and she said that it's been a humbling experience to connect with her heritage. Take a look.
In the past day, by men and women alike is, oh, we weren't surprised when we found out when you were Nigerian. Oh, no. And I say that mostly as a compliment to all of you because what they define as a Nigerian woman is brave, resilient, courageous, powerful, beautiful.
Harry and Meghan wrapped up this evening at a charity polo match. They will return to California tomorrow. There has been a lot of commentary here in the UK about this trip. Has to be said, not all of it has been positive, but I think, Sarah, what we're all dying to know is Carl's take on all of this after his reaction to me in the last hour.
I think you're going to reserve your judgment.
I'm a 95% Queenslander.
Makes you
brave, beautiful, courageous.
I feel like she forgot something. Modest, humble.
Just a couple
I didn't need to say anything.
What a woman.
Well, the Duchess of Sussex has referred to Nigeria as my country as her and Harry wrap up their 3-day unofficial royal tour. Let's bring in royal editor at the Daily Mirror, Russell Myers now. Rusty, good to see you. Meghan had a fair bit to say while she was over there, didn't she?
Well, morning, Sarah. Well, she did. And I mean, there's a lot of people been questioning why Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been going to Nigeria, but it was all about Invictus Games. There was some invitation from the Nigerian government, and it has all gone pretty swimmingly. But she did reveal, indeed, that she is, in fact, 43% Nigerian. She did a genealogy test last year, and she described herself as brave, resilient, powerful, just like Nigerian women who were in the audience listening to her. So, yeah, plenty to say for herself over the last couple of days.
Did the word humble or generous kind of factor in there as well? We've been having a bit of a chuckle.
I'm not too sure it's in her vocabulary a lot of the time.
Rusty!
But listen, I think that the Nigerian hosts have been absolutely fantastic. And it's very, very looking like a royal tour. You know, I've been on a few of these royal tours and it is absolutely everything but in name. So interesting. Will we see this as Meghan and Harry sort of launching themselves into Africa or the rest of the world? But, you know, don't bet against it.
Well, this is the thing, though, Rusty. I think we're all trying to understand what... You know, it looks like a royal tour, as you said, but it wasn't. So what was it? I mean, you know, what you mentioned before, also some Women's Leadership Summit that Meghan spoke at that we heard that grab from before. But what do you really think of this? What do you make of it?
Well, listen, I think they're constantly trying to reinvent themselves, aren't they? It's very interesting that you know, even Meghan was wearing one of Princess Diana's old necklaces that was part of her private collection that obviously Prince Harry has had for safekeeping for some time. But it's interesting. They are trying to sort of put themselves on the global stage. They need to still have this royal connection. I mean, they were embarrassingly standing up and having the British national anthem play out whilst they were at a gala dinner. So they are pretty much still having that royal connection, and it's exactly what they need if they need to, you know, to keep their profile alive.
It really keeps them in touch with the people when they're watching Nigerian polo too, right?
Well, listen, they are indeed men and women of the people, are they, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, as we well know.
Oh, Rusty, I just love your cut through, mate. Thank you so much for joining us. Where will they go next, Carl?
Who knew there was such a thing? Anyway.